And we're going to be talking about three key topics today. One of those topics is going to be violence in your community, how we can put an end to all the violence that's happening in our communities today. Second topic we're going to be speaking on, we're going to be talking about certain ways that we can get rid of and expose at the same time undercover racism. And the third topic, I'm going to leave that up to y'all, the viewers, to hear once I speak on it. But it's going to be a very insightful topic that I feel like is very important for the time being right now in our community and in our nation. So like I said, we're going to kick this thing off with just a few ways that we can stop violence in our community. And if y'all didn't know, right now I'm in the cradle of my community, which is Norfolk, Virginia, 757, Hampton Roads area. And first I want to say, far as the violence in this community, in a short 23-year span, I've got to witness a lot of violence in our community. And my thing is, my take on it, should I say, is a very, very broad spectrum. Because first and foremost, we need to analyze the importance of where the violence stems from. First and foremost, the violence stems from a very broad and small at the same time spectrum of things. First, I'm gonna start it off with the Joy DeGruy theory of post-traumatic slavery disorder. So when you have a race of people that's been systematically oppressed and depressed for years at a time, and you bring them to a situation where now everything's been taken from you, your culture, your values, your morals, your complete compassion for your fellow brother, your fellow sister, and you put them in a laboratory style neighborhood called, right now what we in, Park Place or wherever you from in this community, and you literally have to rewire the psyche and the subconscious to want to act against your brother or sister in a positive manner. That's a whole nother dynamic. Because when you're looking at it from, like I said, a post-traumatic slavery disorder standpoint, you got to look at the systematic oppression that's taken place for hundreds of years and still taking place today. Now, like I said, when you put a group of people who's gone through everything that we've gone through in the past few hundred years, even more than that, and you tell them, look, we're going to put you in an impoverished society. We're going to put you in an impoverished neighborhood. And then we're going to take away the resources out of that neighborhood. So you don't have any money. You don't have any institutions. You don't have any jobs in those same communities where the economic resources are very low. You're going to find yourself in a breeding pool for violence. Why? Because the statistics show that in every neighborhood or community you can think of where there's no economic power or resources, in simplest terms, if there's no jobs or no job opportunity, that is a breeding farm for negativity and violence. Now, let me break it down to you. If I come to Norfolk, Virginia, 757 Hampton Roads area, and I see nothing but ran down neighborhoods, I see the pimps on the corner. I see the drug dealers on the corner. I see the brothers that look just like me, but I hate them because they get money in other ways that I can't get money. And then I take a long trip. I say that sarcastically. Very short trip to Virginia Beach, where literally the scenery is completely different. The economic resources and power is completely different. It breeds a certain mentality in my head that I got to get this money by any means necessary. And with the money, you know you're going to be aiming for power 9 times out of 10, because when we bring ourselves to that lower vibration of thinking the dollar is everything, that breeds power, that breeds ego, that breeds jealousy, that breeds envy. Because if I'm coming up and I see you on the block doing what you do, and I see you getting money how you getting money, and I've never been able to get money that way, I'm going to envy you. 9 times out of 10, I'm going to also follow those steps to get to where you got. 9 times out of 10, based off experience, people. I'm not talking just based off observation. This is experience. I'm going to want to go rob. I'm going to want to go steal. I might go out here and beat somebody to death. Just because the simple fact I don't have those same economic resources that you may have. So in turn, that breeds nothing but violence and negativity in the community. And when we look at that, it's another form of self-hatred. We know the self-hatred stemmed from post-traumatic slavery disorder. And I say that, why? Because if I'm on a plantation and we both feel niggas, point blank, we both feel niggas, and master come to me and say, look, boy, I want to cut you a deal. I'll bring you in the house long as you treat this brother, this sister here, the same way that I treat them. I make sure you eat good. I give you a little bit of food. You know what I'm saying? You might get to sit in the other room in the house when we eat. It's the same dynamic. But now it's a different scenario because the oppressor can pull the strings from behind the scenes now. So when you're looking at this dynamic, it puts you in a place where, okay, I see something, I want it, I need it, I got to take it. That's the dynamic that we're dealing with. Now, as far as how we can prevent these scenarios, it's simple and it's not so simple. Now, what you see, a lot of organizations that were founded and started, they had one simple tactic that was very effective, even in the organizations that we have today. Excuse me if y'all couldn't hear me. Somebody was riding past with the engine about to blow out. But like I was saying, we have a simple tactic that can deviate all of those negative and emotional tendencies that we have in our black communities. First things first, and this is one thing our organization is going to start doing. We have to start being responsible for our own neighborhoods and communities. When I mean that, I mean it wholeheartedly. If you know there's no jobs or resources in your communities, go back to the communities that you're from, even if you don't reside there anymore. Give people resources. Create jobs for people. Create community events for people to join and come to. Create organizations to take people off of the streets. And also militarize your own neighborhoods. Why? Because we can relate to those problems and issues within our communities. I can't expect a law enforcement officer who in most cases can't relate to my struggle or can't relate to my community even, to come into my neighborhoods and communities, police my neighborhoods and communities, and also be there for a safe haven, so to speak. That's stupidity. That has never worked. That shows that you're insane in your beliefs that people who don't look like you in most cases and can't relate to you can possibly be there to protect you and deviate those issues that create violence in the community. Because me being the brother that I am, if I can relate to your struggle and your situation, and I come into your neighborhood with about 20 or 60 other brothers and sisters that look like you and can relate to you, it's easier for us to deviate away from that initial problem. You know what I'm saying? And that's one thing that we can do. And like I said, it also starts with the youth. If we can gather up the youth off the streets early. Me and my brother was just talking about the other day, if y'all seen in the first episode, my brother Tay was speaking on how these young boys are on the corner shooting dice. They want to be like the rappers. They want to be like this person and that gangster and this person. It's not beneficial. So if we put ourselves in a mindset to think of where we were when we were that age, whether we fell victim to it or whether we didn't fall victim to it, we should be the ones putting in place some type of resource or environment, at least, that the young people can come to fellowship. They don't have to be on the street. They can learn something as well and literally get themselves out of harm's way within our communities. These are very small points that we can do. And it doesn't take a certain type of person to do it. Anybody can do it. We can get out here and do our own community sweeps with no interruptions, with no interference. Long as we make our preference and our overall goal known of what we want in our communities, we have to be the ones to create that. Because you can't have a preference for what you want in your community and don't work towards it. That's kind of backwards. And it's also not really shifting any poles anywhere. So if we start putting together things of this nature to come in, like I said, organize, infiltrate, and unify the people within our communities, you'll start actually having communities. Because right now we don't have anything but neighborhoods. And if you really want to be technical, I look at a neighborhood as something people put a mask over to not see the real in-depth look at what the neighborhood is, so to speak. And we just call it a hood because that's what it is. When you want to cover your face up, cover your identity, you throw on a hood. Same way with the Klansmen. They throw on hoods to cover their identity. So what you living in right now, 9 times out of 10, if you where I'm from, you consider it a hood. But like I said, we have to be the ones putting in place certain things for the youth, for the adults even, for the elders to come to. We also have to go to them, let them know that, look, we're here to protect our community. We're here to give our 2 cents on our neighborhoods, on our communities, so that they know that we're actually out here to make a difference. See, a lot of people just want to speak on the issue, but don't want to put anything in place to solve it. So the thing is, you have to really get out here and organize. If you're not a part of an organization, go be a part of one. Go join one immediately. Join one that's doing something positive in your communities. And if you feel like that organization is for you and they don't quite have the tools needed, you add the tools to the organization. Because that's the only thing that's going to start to shift the poles of violence in your neighborhoods and in your communities. Is if you get out here, put your feet on the ground and say, look, we're not having it. We're not going to have brothers shooting brothers over dope and money and women. We're not going to have the women out here stabbing each other up over petty nonsense. You know what I'm saying? These things are very vital, and I see them go on all the time. I've actually lost a couple brothers, sisters, cousins, and everything that I know personally. You know what I'm saying? That has fell victim to the gun violence, has fell victim to just violence in general, brutal violence. I had a brother not too long ago named Dante, graduated with him. They murdered the boy. You know what I'm saying? Right out here in Portsmouth. You know what I'm saying? And it's simple stuff like that should be, that should be taken accountable by us as a community and us as a people, because nobody's going to protect us and serve us like we can. So once we get down to that dynamic, we'll see what difference can be made in our communities. Like I said, if you out here every day, you've been out here for years at a time and you're not really doing nothing in your community, you should be ashamed of yourself. Real talk. You should be ashamed of yourself, because there's no reason why you can't get with people and organize. It shouldn't be 40 and 50-year-old elders out here trying to lead the people when the young people are the ones with the energy. You know what I'm saying? We got to take time off from the club. We got to take time off from the block. We got to take time off from social media and really get our feet wet. Step out here and stop being scared to make a difference, because a lot of y'all don't want to make a difference because you're scared to. You're scared it's not going to have no real result. But the truth of the matter is, if you don't try, you don't know what's going to happen. You know what I'm saying? So that's also a lack of accountability that we have to start, making ourselves responsible for. Because you can't talk about the violence. I can't get up here and speak on violence and things in the neighborhood and in the community and then come to y'all and say, oh, well, I ain't really done nothing to change it. It's kind of backwards. You know what I'm saying? It's organizations out here that's actually putting their feet to the ground to make a difference. You know what I'm saying? Prime example, yesterday, Reach Back Foundation. It's an organization out here. Just did a hood-to-hood walk. You know what I'm saying? Going into the neighborhoods, talking to the people, fellowshipping with the people, letting them know that we actually out here for the accountability. Those are things that we need to start doing on a regular, consistent basis. It can't be a once a month type of thing where we get together and say, now we want to make a difference on this day. It has to be a daily routine. We had to start putting people in place to, like I said, militarize our neighborhoods. Because at the end of the day, if you're not militarizing your own neighborhood and community, you leaving somebody else accountable for it. And that's where you get all the unwanted people that you got coming into your neighborhood. We're not going to speak, directly because we know who they are. But we got people that even look like us who we really don't want in our neighborhood. You got to set the record straight with them too. Uncle Toms, we don't want y'all in our hoods. It's simple. Law enforcement, if you're not here to do the right thing and promote justice, we don't want you here either. So if they're not going to be the ones to do it, you have to step out, say, look, I'm not taking this shit no more. We're going to do it on our own. And that's just a small take on how we can shift the poles on violence within the community. Now, another topic we want to discuss, I feel like I'm going to have fun with this one, is undercover racism.